The echo of an ancient instinct resonates within us, human beings, just as it echoes in the vast and icy confines of the planet, where short-winged, robust-bodied creatures defy the fury of the elements. Let's look at penguins. Their lives, marked by a relentless dance between individual survival and collective strength, offer us a fascinating mirror. They don't just inhabit, but thrive in vast colonies, depending on each other for vital warmth and protection against relentless predators. This interdependence, this invisible web of mutual support, isn't merely a survival strategy. It's the very essence of their flourishing. And us? Could it be that our incessant search for connection, the pain of loneliness, the longing for a friendly shoulder, are simply reflections of a need as primal as theirs? Prepare for a journey that will cross the poles of the planet with the depths of the human soul, revealing how the silent wisdom of animal nature can teach us about the most fundamental of human emotions, the vital need for support. Modern life, with its dizzying speed and emphasis on individualism, often makes us forget a fundamental truth. We are intrinsically social beings. The need for support, belonging, and connection is not a luxury, but a driving force in our existence, as vital as the air we breathe. When this need is neglected, when loneliness sets in and isolation deepens, the consequences can be devastating. Feelings of sadness, anxiety, and even a sense of emptiness can emerge, eroding our well-being and our ability to thrive. It is no wonder that modern psychology points to the quality of our relationships as one of the pillars of happiness and mental health. The absence of meaningful social ties has been associated with a range of problems, from increased chronic stress to decreased life expectancy. Think of the small and large manifestations of this need in our daily lives. The search for true friendships, those that offer us a safe haven to confide in and celebrate with. The warmth of a family hug that reminds us we're not alone, even in the most difficult moments. The joy of belonging to a group, be it a sports team, a book club, a religious community, or a support group, where we find an echo for our passions and support for our weaknesses. The support network manifests in countless ways, from the neighbor who offers help with a simple task to the friend who crosses town to be by your side in a crisis. We see this need in every new parent seeking advice from other parents, and every student forming a study group to face academic challenges, in every professional connecting with their peers for guidance and solidarity in a competitive environment. The vulnerability of asking for help, the strength of extending a hand, and the gratitude of receiving a gesture of care are different sides of the same coin. Human fragility in the face of life's challenges is mitigated and often overcome by the presence of a support network. It's as if, in every connection, a part of us strengthens, allowing us to face storms with more resilience and find joy even in small victories. The absence of support, on the other hand, can turn a small obstacle into an insurmountable abyss, revealing the harshness of an existence devoid of solidarity. Ultimately, the ability to connect and belong is not just a desire. It's an essential condition for our human fulfillment. Let's now enter the realm of penguins, masters of survival in one of the most inhospitable environments on the planet, the frigid polar regions. Far from the adorable and clumsy image we have of them, penguins are a living testament to the power of community. They don't survive alone. They are intrinsically dependent on their massive colonies, which can house tens of thousands, and in some cases, millions of individuals, like the gigantic king penguin colonies. Imagine them, thousands of feathered bodies huddled together on an icy surface, braving biting winds that can reach over 100 kilometers per hour and temperatures that plummet far below freezing. This huddling is not merely accidental. It's a crucial survival strategy known as the turtle formation, or huddle, where penguins take turns in the outer positions of the group, enduring the most intense cold and direct wind, while others nestle in the center, benefiting from the collective warmth. It's a rotation of sacrifice and mutual benefit, where one's life depends on another's temporary sacrifice. And every few minutes, the rotation occurs to ensure no penguin freezes. This behavior isn't just about staying warm. It's a demonstration of instinctive collective intelligence. Beyond warmth, the colony offers vital protection against predators like leopard seals, orcas, and skuas. Safety in numbers is a fundamental principle. A predator will have more difficulty isolating a single penguin amidst a crowd. They communicate through complex vocalizations, which can be specific to each species and even to each individual, allowing them to identify partners and chicks amidst the apparent chaos of the colony. Reproduction, one of the most vulnerable moments of their lives, is a joint effort. While one parent ventures out to find food in the icy sea, the other incubates the egg or protects the chick, taking turns that can last weeks without eating. The dedication and cooperation in raising their offspring are admirable, with collective nurseries or creches where chicks are grouped and protected by a few adults, while most parents forage for food. The penguin's life is an ode to interdependence, proof that in an unforgiving world, true strength lies in unity and the unconditional support of their fellows. The dance between individual vulnerability and collective strength is not exclusive to penguins. Drawing a direct parallel between the behavior of these animals and the human experience, we realize that the same instinctive patterns of seeking support and belonging resonate deeply within our own species. Just as a solitary penguin in the vast icy expanse would be doomed to cold and predation, an isolated human faces a world of challenges with a much heavier burden, feeling unprotected and more vulnerable to life's tempests, both emotional and practical. Consider the metaphor of the penguin huddle, or turtle formation, transported to the human universe. In times of crisis, be they natural disasters, pandemics, devastating personal losses, or exhausting professional challenges, the human tendency is to group together, to seek comfort, practical help, and solidarity from others. Whoever is in front, facing the strongest winds of difficulty, can be temporarily sustained by those in the center, who offer the warmth of empathy, emotional support, and practical assistance. And this role constantly reverses in a continuous cycle of solidarity, where the strength of one is the refuge of another. The need for a collective nursery for penguin chicks finds its echo in daycares, schools, and even parent groups that mutually support each other in the difficult yet rewarding task of raising children. The division of labor between breeding penguins, one hunts the other protects the nest, reflects the dynamic of many human relationships, be they familial, friendships, or professional, where partners complement each other, sharing responsibilities and combining efforts to ensure the well-being and success of a common goal. Our voices, our gestures, our glances in search of recognition and validation mirror the complex vocalizations of penguins searching for their mates in the colony. The fear of being alone, the joy of being embraced, the security of knowing there is someone to support us. These are universal feelings that connect us to the communal life of penguins. It's not just a matter of convenience. It's a profound manifestation of our nature. Interdependence is not a sign of weakness, but the key to resilience and flourishing, both in the frigid pole and in the complex web of human society. The strength of the individual, ultimately, is inseparable from the strength of the group. The profound need for social support in humans and the communal organization of penguins are not mere coincidences. They have roots in well-established psychological and biological principles, demonstrating an evolutionary wisdom that transcends species. In our species, modern science has illuminated the mechanisms behind our innate sociability in a quite complex way. For instance, the release of oxytocin, often called the love hormone or bonding hormone, is widely documented in positive social interactions, such as hugs, touches, meaningful conversations, and even caring for others. This chemical in the brain promotes feelings of trust, empathy, and well-being, and reduces stress, strengthening social bonds and encouraging cooperation. Other neurotransmitters like dopamine are also involved, associating pleasure with social interaction. From an evolutionary perspective, group living was crucial for the survival of our ancestors. In a world full of dangers, hunting in teams was more effective defense against predators, became viable collective child-rearing, increased offspring survival rates, and the transmission of knowledge and skills from one generation to another was facilitated by group communication. Isolated individuals would have had little chance to thrive and reproduce. This evolutionary heritage is reflected in our social brain, which is programmed to seek and value connection. Neuroscience studies show that social rejection can activate the same brain regions associated with physical pain, underscoring the vital importance of belonging and how social exclusion can be as painful as a physical injury. The need for approval and belonging is so deeply ingrained that it influences a large part of our decisions and behaviors. In the realm of penguins, biology also reinforces the primacy of community with equally effective mechanisms. The huddle, or turtle formation, for example, is an ingenious thermal adaptation. Scientific research, using thermal cameras and mathematical models, has demonstrated that this aggregation drastically reduces individual heat loss, allowing penguins to conserve vital energy in sub-zero temperatures, where every calorie saved makes the difference between life and death. The dynamic of safety in numbers against predators is a well-known survival strategy in behavioral ecology, where the probability of an individual being attacked decreases as the group size increases, confusing the predator and diluting the risk. Cooperation in raising offspring ensures that both parents can optimize foraging for food and protection of the egg, chick, increasing the chances of offspring survival in a resource-limited environment. Science, therefore, not only validates behavioral observations, but reveals the intricate reasons why community is, for both penguins and humans, a successful strategy in the face of a challenging world. The omnipresence of the need for support can be observed in countless daily examples, revealing how the penguin's instinct for community manifests in the complexity of human life, often in subtle yet incredibly powerful ways. Consider the story of Maria, a young single mother who, upon moving to a new city for a new job, felt the heavy burden of loneliness and the overwhelming task of caring for a baby without support. She started frequenting a mother's group at the local park, driven by a desperate need for connection. At first, she merely observed shyly, but little by little, the smiles, conversations about sleepless nights, and genuine offers of help from other mothers broke through her isolation. Within a few months, she not only had friends to share the joys and challenges of motherhood, but also a network that helped her with rides to daycare, recipe exchanges, and a sympathetic ear on the toughest nights. This small colony of mothers became her safe haven, an echo of the warmth and protection that penguins find in their huddles. Or consider the situation of John, an elderly man who lost his wife after 50 years of marriage and suddenly found himself alone in a house that felt too large. Melancholy and a lack of purpose began to consume his life, and he isolated himself. That's when his grandson encouraged him to join a volunteer group at a local nursing home, where he could read to other elderly residents. There, John found not only people to help, but also a community that embraced him, with stories to share and new friendships to cultivate. The conversations, card games, and laughter with the other volunteers and residents reignited his spark. He felt useful, belonged, and the sparkle returned to his eyes. His experience mirrors how penguins depend on social interaction for their well-being and survival, even without an apparent purpose beyond a pure need for connection. Even in moments of great tragedy, human solidarity erupts in impressive ways. When a flood devastated a small town in southern Brazil, neighbors who barely knew each other before united in a spontaneous task force for rescue and reconstruction. They opened their homes to the displaced, shared food and water, offered emotional and physical support, and worked side by side to clear mud and rebuild what had been lost. The community became a large human colony, where everyone contributed what they could: brawn, money, words of comfort, so that no one was left behind. The heroic actions of anonymous individuals, the spontaneous organization of shelters, the mass donation of supplies, all of this reflects the same deep instinct for mutual protection that drives penguins to unite against a storm. These are stories that remind us that, at our core, we are beings made for connection, to give and receive support, to thrive in community. As we contemplate the lives of penguins and the profound connections that sustain them in one of Earth's harshest environments, we are invited to an intrinsic reflection on our own existence and on what it truly means to be human. What lessons can we draw from this ancient wisdom, so vividly lived in the frigid polar landscapes and so often forgotten in our modern world, focused on individualism and self-sufficiency? The first and most impactful is that vulnerability is not weakness, but an invitation to connection. Just as a solitary penguin is more susceptible to intense cold and the danger of predators, a human who isolates themselves deprives themselves of a vital resource: the support, protection, and warmth of their colony. Understanding and accepting our innate need for support is the first step towards cultivating a fuller, healthier, and more resilient life. This means recognizing that asking for help is not a sign of incapacity or failure, but a demonstration of strength, self-awareness, and a deep understanding of our interdependent nature. It means valuing and nurturing the people around us: family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, cultivating authentic and meaningful relationships. It's about investing time and energy in building and maintaining our own support networks, offering and receiving without fear or guilt. Penguins teach us, with their instinctive dance, about the importance of interdependence and mutual sacrifice. No one thrives alone indefinitely, and the contribution of each individual, however small it may seem, strengthens the whole. The rotation in the huddle is not an act of selfishness, but of altruism and collective intelligence. How can we apply this in our daily lives? Perhaps it's through volunteering in our community, actively participating in collaborative projects at work, or simply extending a hand to a friend or neighbor who needs a listening ear or a gesture of solidarity. It's about creating an environment where everyone feels safe to be themselves, where empathy prevails, where differences are valued, and where solidarity is the driving force that propels us forward. Our society often glorifies extreme individualism and the idea of doing everything alone. But the truth is that our happiness, our well-being, and even our professional and personal success are intrinsically linked to our ability to connect, to belong, and to contribute to something greater than ourselves. By embracing this truth, we can begin to build stronger communities, more united families, and a more compassionate and resilient society. May the image of penguins in their huddle formation, embraced by the common purpose of surviving and thriving, inspire us to seek and offer the human warmth, protection, and solace that all of us deep down long for and deserve. True prosperity flourishes where the individual and the community intertwine in a dance of mutual support. And so, we return from the polar cold to the warmth of our own lives, with a new perspective on what drives and sustains us. Penguins, in their collective simplicity and powerful interdependence, whisper a timeless and profound truth. We are made for connection, for support, for community. May the image of a united colony, facing the elements together, inspire you to strengthen your own bonds, to seek and offer support without hesitation,